Hi everybody, this is Mark with Morale River Films. The other day we had the great pleasure of interviewing a legend in the paddling community, Cliff Jacobson. What I'm about to show you is just a tiny amount of the footage that we got during the afternoon that we sat down with him. In the near future I plan on putting more bits on our YouTube channel of what we talked about. We talked about gear, bears, bugs, everything. If you want to receive those updates, subscribe to our YouTube channel or like our Facebook page if you're on Facebook, and you'll get all the updates through that.
Basically, I think maybe three things: freedom, remoteness, and challenge. Freedom to follow your own star as you see fit. And when you are out there, the wilderness takes precedent. You have no time to worry about finances or your work or whatever. You're totally in tune with something unique. Challenge, the challenge of finding portages, running whitewater, setting up a camp, keeping a camp dry, being in command in the middle of a storm. Those to me are really very rewarding things. And remoteness, I mean, the first time you stand in the middle of 100,000 caribou or watch them swim across a river or see a polar bear or a seal, this is not like going to a zoo. It's a remote feeling that you feel, and you can't get this anyplace else. So I guess those are really the three reasons why. I believe it was Horace Capehart who said, "I come to the wilderness not to rough it, but to smooth it." And basically, if you know what you're doing, it's very comfortable and delightful out there. I'm very comfortable in the wilderness. I eat as well, probably better than I do at home. I sleep as well. I'm as comfortable. So I don't think it's a hardship. It only becomes a hardship if you're not skilled. And skills are more important than things. So if you work on your skills instead of just buying something to solve the problem, you'll be a lot happier out there. Even when bugs are really bad, there's ways of dealing with things. And sure, it's not a picnic all the time. Sometimes you have to bite the bullet and things are tough. But if you think in your life of the tough experiences, those are really the things you remember the most. I would say my greatest comfort things are, number one, my folding stool with a back on it. When I get out of that canoe, I want to sit back, I want to have something to lean against, I want a back. And I know it's extravagant. It probably weighs, that little stool of mine probably weighs 3 pounds, but I take that. Comfort counts, especially if you get stuck. And sometimes you can get stuck for days when it's raining and blowing, and so you want a tent that's commodious enough to fit you. So I carry a decent-sized tent. I use a 3-person tent for 2.
Cool.
Portaging is something that goes with the game. I mean, if you're going to canoe in a wilderness area, you're going to have to carry your canoe from watershed to watershed or around rapids or whatever the case might be. Sometimes it's enjoyable when you've been in a canoe all day long, you get out and you can portage. The key is to not carry so much that it becomes a drudgery. I think be willing to make more trips. And be sure everything is packed in packs so you don't have a bunch of loose items. And finally, be sure your canoe is set up right. That's really important. A real comfortable yoke so that you can carry the canoe comfortably on your shoulders. And since one yoke will not fit you and all your friends, you need to decide who's going to carry the boat. And then whoever carries the boat, you fit the yoke to their shoulders. Mm-hmm. But if the canoe is set up right and your gear is in packs and your packs are you don't have too many packs, I don't think it can be an enjoyable thing. Sometimes it's a wonderful thing. For example, you've been running technical rapids all day long and you're really going crazy with this and it's making you nuts, and all of a sudden there's a portage, and I can't tell you how good it feels then to get your feet on dry land. Okay, let's talk about what really goes on out there. What really goes here's the dangers, the real dangers. Number one, you are most likely to get killed driving to and from the wilderness. Car wreck's going to be number one. Number two is open water crossings. You get a mile from shore on one of these, you get a mile from shore in the boundary waters. If the water's cold and you capsize your canoe, you're probably going to die. And people say, well, what do I do if I'm a mile from shore and I capsize? What do I do, Cliff? I say, you die. Bears are so far down the list that they don't even count. I mean, even when you include canoeing in grizzly country, and even polar bear country, it really doesn't count. You occasionally will hear of a mauling, but it's so occasional. You hear far more problems with people capsizing. What about drowning in a rapid? You know, that can happen too, but that's pretty far down the list too. Why? Because where rivers create rapids, they generally tend to be narrow. And if you capsize in a rapid and you're wearing your life jacket and you know the procedure, lay on your back and so forth, with your feet up in the air, holding your paddle, most people will be able to get to shore and they will be fine. They might be cold, they might be miserable, but they will live through the experience. Okay, bugs. You know, bugs are what they are, and sometimes they are so horrendous that even those of us who can tolerate them have to die for the tent. But there are some things that you can do to minimize it. Number one, heading the list are avoid colors that bugs like. And what they like is navy blue. That's top of the list. Ironically, most of the stuff you buy in outdoor stores is navy blue. It's the most popular color. Don't buy navy blue. Black's not good either. Generally, the lighter colors are better. And it's really quite pronounced. If you're going to use repellents, don't get taken in by clever advertising that's going to tell you how all these natural repellents work. You know what? They don't work. What works is DEET, diethylmetatoluamide. And the more of it you have, basically, the better it works. There are some exceptions. You can mix it, use cream-based repellents, last longer than alcohol-based repellents and so forth. But basically, what works is DEET.
Well, that's all I have for you,
All
Cliff.
right.
I appreciate your patience with me.